shot this morning, I shot a video about dropping a tree. Looked at the results and the sound quality was crap and the image quality wasn't great. When I swapped to the front camera on the phone, the format changed as well. Overall it wasn't that great. I got a new phone, or new to me, it's still only a cheapie. And I don't quite know how to drive it yet, but I just don't think it's up to the job. I don't have a lav mic, and the new phone, even though it's got voice recording, the quality is even worse than on this Key Mission 170 here. And when I plug in, I do have a lav mic physically, but when I plug it into the new phone, it doesn't work. So overall I'm not too happy about the way things are going, and I do want to get back into making videos for YouTube, but at this quality it's just not worth the trouble. Anyway, have a look at this one. I think the content's still probably okay. And if you've got any comments, let me know down below. Thank you. So I'm stood just outside the workshop here, and you can see that big dead tree. Well, that's been there forever, of course. It's right close to the workshop, and one day it's going to fall over. If I had any brains, I would have knocked that down long before I built the workshop. Anyhow, it's time to do it. You can see I've done the rigging there. I did that 3 or 4 days ago, but the wind's been picked up then and it's been windy ever since. So I haven't been going to actually drop the tree. It's fairly calm today, so we might actually give it a try. We'll go, oh, the wind's just picked up just as I said that. We'll see, but I'll go over and have a look at the car. I've got that rigged up to pull that tension rope there. And we've got a second rope here. The idea of that is a bit of a safety thing to stop it falling towards the house. If you only have one rope, it could still fall sideways. It could fall to the left here, which I don't care about, but if it falls to the right, it's going to land in my workshop, so hopefully that rope will stop it from doing that if it comes to that. It goes down here, and it's just tied off with a trucker's hitch. Applied a fair bit of tension, but that's not really the point of this, it's just to stop it going, the tree falling the other way. I've had to go around that tree there, so the rope's not in a straight line at the moment, but if I go on the other side, when the big tree falls over, that rope will wrap around that little tree and probably either break it or stretch the rope, or even worse, that'll cause my belay rope here to pull the big tree to the left. Which wouldn't really matter here, but sometimes that can land in a place you don't want it to, so hopefully we got all this rigging right. I'm not really an expert, but far from it. So we'll give this a try. And to get that rigging up into the tree that high, I've got what they call a throw rope, which in my case is 20 or 30 metres of paracord, a bit of scrap steel tied on the end of it. The trick is to tie your normal ropes, your main ropes onto that, chuck it up as high as you can, and then you can pull your ropes up behind it, which is what I've done here. But sometimes it doesn't really work and you've got to do it 2 or 3 times, but I'm getting better at it. And once the ropes are over some convenient fork or something, I then thread the other end through the eye that's on the end of these ropes, pull that, and they noose up onto the fork or onto the bow or wherever you've got it. But you can see one of those there is quite separated. It goes down to here. And that's because it started to, friction was too much and wouldn't really tighten up anymore, so I've done what I call a stick knot there, which is basically just jam a stick through the eye. And then it goes down and it's just a couple of hitches around a tree over here. So here we are over at the car, about 50 yards away. There's my tension rope there on the ground. That's some Dyneema rope. I pulled it out of the winch from my 6x6 truck. So we'll wrap that around the bull bar there, apply a bit of tension, and hopefully that'll cause the tree to drop exactly where I want it. So this is our tension rope. We'll just put it around here, do something of a half hitch or whatever that's called. Doesn't have to be super strong or much tension at this point, because I can back the car up to give it some tension. So this is our tension rope. We don't need to do much here, but it's just got to be enough so it doesn't come undone. Bit of a hitch there, might work better than the last one. I'll put one over here. Well, we don't need much tension here because I can back the car up and sort that out. So let's do that. I think that's enough. Right. We have a close look at the tree. Someone's tried to chop it before. There's a similar mark on the other side, plus there's some ring barking, so I'm not sure what the point of that was, but anyhow. What worries me though is, we go up to this fork. I chopped that bit on the right down the other day because that was biasing it more towards the house and I want it to bias the other way. But what worries me is, down here, that's a crack, and I don't know how sound this tree is. I'm going to probably decide to cut it around about here somewhere, but if it's not sound, who knows where it'll break. It could barber chair off behind to the right there or do anything, who knows. Anyhow, I guess it's time to give it a try and hope we don't ride off half the house. I better move the wife's car too before I start. She won't be impressed if we hit that. That's getting close. I reckon I'll go and give that a tug with the car and see what happens. Well, I'm going to call that a win. Came down exactly where I wanted it. Didn't hit the house. Didn't land on my new retaining wall, or whatever you want to call that, just there. I think we're good to go. We've got another week's, probably more like a month worth of firewood, or even more. Probably see us the season out, I think. There's the end of the main tension rope. As I mentioned before, I slip the end, once I get the rope up there, I slip the end through the eye in the end and then pull it, and the whole thing snigs up on whatever branch it is that's around, as a rule. So that's how it's supposed to work. The other rope, not so much, but it doesn't matter, it did the job. My workshop is now safe from this tree. It's not safe from all the other trees, but that's another story. Now I've high stumped this rather than cutting down to the ground, partly because it's a lot more comfortable, and partly because I might actually use this as a stump to mount a vise or something on sometime. That depended on how sound the wood was, and even though I was worried about that crack, it's not too bad. It's quite sound. There is some termites in there, and you see that little fella is making a meal of them. But overall it's not too bad. It'd certainly be okay to put a vise or something on. Now that tension rope is 50 metres long, and I reckon I only used about half of it. Like I said, it used to be a winch rope off my 6x6 truck. And I like that sort of length because it means I can get a heck of a long way from the falling tree with my vehicle, or winch if I start to use a winch, which I may do. So there you have it, the tree's down. Now please don't take this as an instructional video on how to drop a tree. I'm just learning myself, and I may have made plenty of mistakes there. If you do know what you're doing and you spotted a mistake or two, a serious one, then let me know down below in the comments. Constructive criticism only, please. So over the next few days I'll dice this up for firewood, and then it's job done. Meanwhile, Grey Nomad out.